From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
All right, it's the Bryan Vinny Show, everybody. May 29, 2018, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. You ever watch these on video, Vinny?
The shows we do?
Yeah.
Not often, no.
Because you chomping on your fingers like this? All on video.
Not stroking my fingers, I'm stroking my chin.
Oh, I see.
I don't chew my nails.
Yeah, we film everybody when that music's playing. Just to catch you off guard.
I'm sure you do. Well, I'm sure we'll just quit after that noise.
You're just gnawing on them.
I don't chew my nails.
Hey, you do.
I don't.
Okay. I'll take your word for
They're
it.
around here. They're scratching my nose or scratching my mouth, whatever.
Do you ever scratch your teeth like that?
Probably.
Okay.
There
we go.
It probably is me picking my teeth on
Okay.
video. That's
I
probably
got it.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
It is.
All right, well, let's talk about this show here. 2 shows, Retro, Raw and Nitro 19 years ago this week. They were all right. I didn't hate them as much as usual. Maybe I'm just done.
I had that thought too.
Yeah, or maybe they were better.
Especially on Nitro, I had that thought that like this seems like a bad show, but I just don't have the energy to hate it anymore.
It wasn't that bad though.
Last part sucked.
Well, yeah, but I mean the last part always sucks.
I guess that's
so.
true.
If there was a little bit of good stuff on Nitro, then it was a huge improvement over. Like last week, we thought it was one of the worst shows we'd ever seen. So like, how could this be worse?
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It was better.
You are right. It was the best Nitro in a while.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
And Raw actually had good wrestling.
Brought a lot of good wrestling.
Yeah.
WCW Monday Nitro number 193, May 31st, 1999. Bam Bam Bigelow and Dallas Page attacked Raven in a parking lot. Hundreds of fans jumping and shouting all over the place, and security helping them back, but not, breaking up the fight. And they threw him into a dumpster and slammed the big plastic lid onto his head.
I guess he's going to be out for a while.
Apparently.
I don't know why. Rehab? What's going on with Raven?
Maybe he's hurt.
Where's he going?
It may also be they just wanted him out of action for the angle tonight.
That could have been.
Yeah, he'll be back next week. As I wrote here, recap of all the crap that happened last week.
All right, so
I'm not writing it down a second time.
I wrote down a lot of it. Tank Abbott has shown up.
Yeah?
We had Tenay referring it to the Ultimate Fight Championships repeatedly.
Tank Abbott from the Ultimate Fight.
Yeah, and this is Mike Tenay, who usually does not make mistakes. That's a big one. This was not 1993. This was 1999. They've been around for 6 years. He didn't know the name of the Ultimate Fighting Championships.
Just say UFC.
We had Rick Steiner and Tank Abbott getting into a brawl. We had Randy Savage doing a promo. We had a bunch of matches, which I did not bother writing down. But it did, in fact, seem like I missed a year of television. And we didn't. We missed Thunder.
Yeah.
We didn't even miss a Nitro.
No. Yeah. And the announcers could not stop talking about Tank. So Eddie Guerrero comes out. His first appearance since his car wreck.
Now, before that, they announced it tonight on the show. In a random cage match. It is Sting versus Rick Steiner. For whatever belt Rick Steiner has. I've already forgotten.
Well, it wasn't random because Tank Abbott was there.
Why is this match taking place and why is it in a cage?
I guess to ensure that Sting and his monster truck don't show up again.
Huh.
Only it wasn't Sting, it was Lex in a Sting mask. I have no idea. Well, let's see. Eddie Guerrero comes out. His first appearance since his big car wreck. He is nervous. Mm-hmm. He is incredibly humble. It's a fine trait in a human being, poor in a pro wrestler. He talks about the injury he suffered to his liver and his ankle and other things.
And other things. You didn't write this down?
Clearly I didn't.
They show footage from the accident. Eddie's talking about his injuries. A lacerated liver was one of them. Mm-hmm. And another one was a broken head socket.
That sounds bad. Are you sure you didn't say hip?
He may have, but I'm pretty sure he said a broken head socket.
It was hip.
I would like to think.
I don't know. I think he had a broken head
I
socket.
don't think
Well, that
there's
sounds serious.
It's the part where your head screws on.
there's only one socket your head goes in.
Dude, and he broke it. Tilt your mic up, Craig.
Hang on. Are we certain he just said the part where your head screws on
No, I said that.
with this signal?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever unscrewed a head?
Can't say that.
Well, what the fuck do you know then?
He's got you there, Vince.
I don't even know what to say.
Prove to me that you don't screw your head on.
I don't.
Well, I know you don't. Have you ever heard the term
Yes.
he's got his head screwed on straight?
I guess I have.
My dad told me the opposite, but yes.
So
Exactly.
You're saying it's literally true.
Yeah, you screw it on.
When we were born, we come out, the baby comes out, and then the baby's head comes out, and the doctor puts the two together.
Well, no, I can confirm that didn't happen.
Okay.
But I mean, if the head hadn't come out,
If they turn yours the other way, can you get taller?
yeah, maybe I could, Craig.
Okay.
Maybe your head gets screwed on a little tighter the older you get, so that's why you get shorter as you get older. You'd know about that. All right, where were we?
This is all so much more entertaining than Eddie Guerrero was.
Hey, you know what, though? When Eddie Guerrero first came out, he was being all humble.
Sure.
Fine. He just came back from an injury. He's happy to be alive. But then he's got to, get out of this funk. He never did.
Not on the show.
He remained quiet, humble Edward Guerrero.
So let me just recap quickly what's happened. There was a lot of video packages. Eddie came out and said his piece, and then Tony Schiavone does this. What's happening? We're going to the ring? Let's go to the ring. They couldn't get one segment in before there was a fuck up.
Well, yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, at least we went to the ring. At least we had
Boy,
a wrestling
did
match.
we.
Hey, Hack and Kidman,
Yeah.
okay?
The Sandman and William Kidman.
At least it was something that you were like, what?
Yeah.
As opposed to,
Okay.
what the fuck? You know what I mean?
I actually do, is the sad
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
I could not believe my eyes. Hack comes out first. So I'm waiting for Knobs.
No.
Or Bam
Hammer.
Bam, Hammer, one of these other.
Like, I couldn't believe they didn't open with Evan Courageous and Hammer.
Yeah.
They actually
That's-
gave us something that I wanted to see.
Yes.
Sure.
Out comes Billy Kidman. So Eddie's, I can't say going off, but he's speaking about how he's glad he knows how to wrestle and doesn't have to do this hardcore shit. And then for a while, they didn't do any hardcore shit. I got to see Billy Kidman and the Sandman treating hammerlocks and headlocks and, the drop toe hold.
Yeah.
When Hack runs across the ring and Kidman goes down and trips him, and Hack goes, oh, thunk. 3 steps. That's how it went down.
Well, Vinny, I don't think this ended in a DQ.
It sure did.
Okay, so it couldn't have been that hardcore a match.
Sure.
So I was baffled when in the middle of this wrestling match, Hack starts throwing a bunch of plunder into the ring. He throws in chairs. He throws in tables. They start doing
Doors.
a hardcore match. So I thought, you know what? Maybe this is one of those hardcore matches where they start out doing wrestling, but then they bring in the plunder. Well, I'm thinking that, and all of a sudden, Hugh Morris runs in for the disqualification. Why was all this plunder allowed?
Don't know.
Why were they allowed to hit each other with a bunch of shit in the middle of this match?
Don't
And then
know.
there's a DQ for a guy running in?
I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
So, yeah, Hugh Morris attacked Kidman.
Can they do anything right?
No. Brian Knobs arrives with a trash can, starts whacking on Hack, and Eddie says, "This is wild."
I like where earlier he said, maybe I should stay retired.
I felt
Yes.
very guilty about waking Eddie up from his nap here. Did we mention Tank and his crew coming out in the middle of this match and announcing that he was going to referee the Rick Steiner Sting cage match?
Oh, yeah, he just came out and started talking to the announcers. He said he was going to bring hell with him if they didn't let him ref. I'm like, you're just a dude. What do you mean you're going to ref the main event on Nitro? What are you talking about? And then he did.
So Ric Flair's on the phone.
Now, before you get to that, I have a sad fact that I would like to reveal to the world here.
Uh-oh.
Okay? It was Hack versus Kidman. There was a run-in by Hugh Morris. There was a run-in by Brian Knobs. And Tank Abbott was out there doing an interview. Every single person is alive except Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
When you look at the guys who were in the ring,
Yeah.
That's astounding.
There's hard living that they've survived. So Flair's on the phone, orders some limousines to take 8 women to his hotel room. Confirms with J.J. Dillon that Randy Savage's top rope elbow is now illegal.
Yeah, it's been banned.
Randy Savage's top rope elbow is now an illegal wrestling move.
He can never use it again.
No, and Flair is sure to insist, I banned it over and over again. It's done.
Well, to be fair to them, he is out of his mind. And they did make it clear in this segment that Flair was gonna ban it on the show tonight.
And then he did.
I never saw him come out and ban it.
I thought I banned it right here.
No, JJ was talking about later.
It only counts if you do it in the ring?
Like Flair's going, well, what segment? And JJ goes, any segment you want. Never happened.
Okay.
So maybe technically it has not been banned yet. Although it was banned last week on the show.
They recapped the Rick Steiner Tank Abbott brawl from Thunder, including Gene telling Tank that Rick Steiner and Sting would be having, quote, a shoot cage match.
That's what he said.
Yeah, well, it's a shoot cage.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah.
All I could think
It's not one of those bullshit blue bar cages.
Yeah.
This is a shoot cage.
By the way, Rick Steiner clobbered this guy a couple times.
Tank?
Yeah. And
When this happened, I remember this vividly 2 decades ago. Brian noted Rick Steiner and Tank Abbott in a real fight would be awesome.
yes.
And
Yeah.
it's still true.
I'd love to see that fight.
But instead we get Rick Steiner.
We
Sting.
almost saw Tank Abbott Scott Steiner.
Oh.
They had something very resembling a real fight later on.
Yeah.
It was awesome, if I recall correctly.
So Eddie thanks WCW and Eric Bischoff. And when he mentions Eric's name, Heenan and Shivani look at each other like, I can't believe he's thanking Eric. Thanks WCW and Eric for keeping him employed, and he leaves. I believe that they put him out there thinking he'd be out there for a while and realized how bad he was and ordered him to the back immediately.
He got the hook.
He may have.
So you're telling me, Vinny, that you believe that WCW realized that something was not good
And cancel
and
it.
stopped doing it?
I understand why you're
Fuck you.
skeptical of this.
Come on, get out of here. You kidding me?
Well, the show was improved when Eddie left.
Fucking Hoovy ends up doing commentary for years.
That was better than this. Miles.
But it was a different kind of horrible.
Sure. Paige and Bam Bam come out for a promo. Paige promises to take out Hulk Hogan permanently next time. They call out Raven and Saturn, and that's it.
They won a World Tag Team title match tonight here on this show.
So, Saturn and Canyon arrived together hours after Raven arrived alone and was beaten.
Right.
Mike Tenay, who, as Canyon noted, is a stooge, says that Paige and Bigelow beat up Raven and sent him to the hospital. So Saturn and Canyon, being normal humans, say, let's go check on our buddy. But then Gene says, wait, they've also challenged you for the tag team titles. And Canyon says, we accept.
Vinny, you're glossing over how awesome this angle is right here. So at the beginning of the show, we have DDP and Bigelow beating up Raven and hitting him with a garbage can lid. Okay? So when Canyon and Saturn arrive, Mike Tenay says, you're never going to believe what happened to Raven.
Right.
He explains it. Saturn says, I told you, Canyon, that we should have gotten here earlier.
Aha.
Canyon says, how was I supposed to know? So then, Tenay notes that they won a tag title match against them tonight, and Canyon goes, you've got it, immediately.
Without checking with Saturn. Without,
This plot is unfolding.
That's
And
some good-
it's a rare, great storyline in the middle of this shit show.
That's some good sleuth in there, Brian.
Yes.
the announcers talked about nothing for like a minute, and then Kurt Hennig comes out. Says,
Well, I mean, they acknowledged DJ Ran.
Yeah.
did. Kurt Hennig
He's
says,
there.
Rap is crap. He's sick of Conan. He's sick of Ray Jr. Goes to confront DJ Ran in the crowd. Bobby Duncombe Jr. is there now too. So there are two guys talking about how great country music is, wearing cowboy hats in the Houston Astrodome.
Thank you.
Of course they got cheered. You give DJ Rand the count of 3 to leave, and then as soon as they start to count, the director cuts away. It should not be that hard. It really shouldn't. Hennig starts to sing a song, Out Come Conan and Ray Jr. in Astros t-shirts to make sure they're not booed. They jibber-jabbered for a while. They started pushing and shoving. Security separated them. This sucked and was stupid, I wrote.
They sang a song about Texas.
Dude,
in
this-
Texas.
This segment was awesome compared to some of the shit on this show.
You're right.
Like the very next match.
Van Hammer versus Evan Courageous.
You know what this was, Vinny?
Terrible.
You know what this was? This was you versus Stoney Edwards.
Which one am I?
You're Evan Courageous,
Okay.
a green-ass dude who, is put in the ring with somebody who's supposed to be the veteran, but is no goddamn good.
Okay.
And I
Stoney
mean that
was-
the nicest way possible to Stoney.
Stoney was green for all different kinds of reasons.
No, yeah, good call.
This match is horrible.
It's very, very
Evan
bad.
was so green. Hammer fucking sucked, but it's his job to lead this dance.
Yeah.
They can't do a fucking thing.
When this match got in the ring, I said, I'm going to be Mr. Brightside. and
Why?
Write down all the good stuff that happened in this match. Here's my list.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you what your list was.
Okay.
Your list consists entirely of the words delayed, middle rope, superplex. And that's it.
Actually, it was Evan Courageous throws a pretty good drop kick.
That's what you got out of this?
That's what I got out of this.
Okay, so two things. Yes, Rob.
Wasn't it last week or the week before that they had Evan Courageous against Rey Mysterio?
Yes.
Which he
Yes.
fucked that up royally as
Yes.
well.
Yep.
And so obviously after watching that, somebody thought it would be a great idea to throw him in with Van Hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah. They decided he needed a real worker. Anyway, there was one delayed middle rope superplex. It was actually pretty good by Hammer. The rest of this was shit.
Van Hammer, to further put off his hippie gimmick, has wrote the word peace on his singlet and then circled and X'd it out.
No peace.
He's all about war.
Anti-peace. All I know is
What?
that's what he did.
That's what he did. That's
Don't
what
get mad at Craig.
That's what the,
I'm not mad at Craig. I'm just wondering why you would have a hippie gimmick but be pro-war.
Well, he's not a hippie gimmick anymore. He's
Right.
whatever the hell. Van
Oh,
Hammer
that's
is.
right. He got his makeover last week.
He was in the
Right.
flock for a while.
I
He was a
see.
hippie, and now he's whatever Van Hammer
This
is.
piece shit wasn't working out for Hammer, so now he's going to embrace war.
Apparently.
I guess.
Cool.
All I can add to this is that
Start stuff, Rob.
imagine the talent it takes to get in there with a guy half your size and beat the hell out of him and come out of it less over than you were going in.
Right.
This was not a success. Mean Gene brings Roddy Piper out for a promo.
Oh, my God. Everybody that wanted the cruiserweights to be pushed. Dean's just killing it for everybody here. Holy fuck.
So Roddy gives a nice, sincere, actually, message for Memorial Day. Then it gets back into the work mode. Says, Ric Flair is not a horseman, he's a gelding. And Dean Malenko is tired of being tied up in a stall. So Malenko comes out. And as he's coming out, Heenan says, these horsemen, since last week when Malenko and Benoit wrestled Flair, they've just been trading angry phone calls and emails and faxes. And when I thought about Ric Flair sitting down to write, type, or perhaps dictate an angry fax
Sure.
and send it to Dean Malenko, and the fact that Heenan wasn't joking and it made sense, that tells you all you need to know about how much the Horsemen sucked on Nitro. Can you imagine Tully Blanchard sending an angry fax? No. He'd insult you, take your one, and destroy your car. So Piper tries to interview Dean. Dean won't speak. I was going to flip my lid. I was going to lose it at Dean coming out for an interview and then not speaking. And then finally he starts to talk. He says,
You were better off when he was a mute. Holy fuck, this promo.
We didn't walk away from Flair. Flair walked away from us. Flair and Arn come out. And Piper says, no, you will listen to what Dean has to say. And Dean says this is not about Rolex watches or fancy cars.
Flair's checking his Rolex as he's talking.
It's about passing the torch.
Is this fucking promo over yet?
Passing the torch.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear about.
Yeah.
Flair says you can't handle the torch. Dean pleads his case to Arn. Were the Four Horsemen ever good on Nitro? Going all the way back to Pillman and Benoit back in the day, was there ever a good segment with the Four Horsemen on Monday Nitro?
Oh, yeah, they've been good segments, yeah. But
I don't remember them.
This was not one of them.
I remember them all bickering about who...
Well, Flair's return in
like
Greensboro
Sanford
and,
Page. That's one. Okay, you got me there.
We always said, Dean Malenko's a robot. Somebody didn't program his promo skills. Somebody forgot that.
I think he was better than Eddie.
Tonight,
Okay.
Tonight. No, tonight. Yeah.
not usually.
Let me clarify that. On
Yeah.
this specific
Eddie
instance.
Eddie was in such a depression here
Yeah.
that Malenko was better by default.
Yes.
Eddie was coming off an accident.
That's also true. So Dean says he was not going to watch Arn's back. He walks out. Arn follows. Flair and Piper brawl. There's finally some action. People are finally into this. They keep fighting. It's funny. Flair leaves. He gets his ass kicked and leaves. And he notices there's 3 hot women in the crowd.
Yes.
And so they go back over to fight right in front of them so Flair can check them out.
Chop me.
See, the problem with all of this stuff in real life is that, the Benoits and the Malenkos, they are just doing the same shit over and over on the show. They're bored. They want to go to Raw. And, Malenko and Benoit had maybe one good match as a team. They just went out there every week and just went through the motions, and it was boring.
Yep.
Benoit can't cut a promo. Dean Malenko can't cut a promo. Meanwhile, Ric Flair just fucking blows everybody away on the mic.
Yeah.
Yep.
He comes out here and brawls with fucking 90-year-old Roddy Piper. They have a great brawl. And as a viewer, we're supposed to think, I want this Ric Flair guy out of the main event, and let's have Dean Malenko in there as our world champion.
It does not work that way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, I was just watching this going, this is doing way more harm than good. Malenko's out there. Man, the year 2000 is coming. The only way to get to the year 2000 is to think about the future and not the past. I'm like, dude, give me more of the past.
Past is better.
Not this bullshit interview.
Not to mention, if this was a real sport, wouldn't you
Win!
Yeah. If you want the torch passed to you, beat guys and take it.
Yeah, it's like this shit they're doing on Raw with Roman Reigns. I'm being screwed because I'm not the champion right now. Even though you keep having matches and Brock keeps beating the shit out of you and pinning you.
Yes.
And now we're supposed to believe that you're getting screwed by me. This is bullshit.
Rey Mysterio Jr. and Conan versus Kurt Hennig and Bobby Duncum.
This was good. You know what this was?
Yeah.
This was Dusty Rhodes in a tag team.
Kinda, yeah.
Because Conan cannot do a long singles match.
Well,
he gets
they just suck.
blown up and he just can't do a goddamn thing. So here, Ray gets in there and they get the heat on Ray, and then they give the hot tag to Conan. All he has to do is his comeback.
Yeah.
And he's been standing on the apron for 10 minutes. So this fucking guy gets the hot tag and he is sprinting. I've never seen Conan move so fast. Place is fucking going out of their mind because all they wanted was wrestling.
Yes.
Do you understand? I say this every week. But it's Conan and Ray versus Hennig and Bobby Duncum Jr. They just want to see some fucking wrestling. He goes crazy, and then Duncan, it's a bell shot for the DQ, which, you know what, was fine.
Yes.
Because this is the beginning of something.
Yes, this is a key. Because I from the get-go, as soon as that DQ is called for, it's clear this is going to be the start of a long-term thing. Usually, when we bitch about DQs, it's because there's a random match where it doesn't matter who wins, but they still do a DQ, and it leads to nothing anyway. This DQ will set up Chapter 2 next week.
Yes.
Great. That's all they want.
This is where I noticed that in the massive Houston Astrodome, there were a lot of empty chairs.
Well, yeah.
Lots. and
Well, yeah,
lots.
but they still sold 12,000 tickets, which is more than Raw did. But still, in that building, not very good.
No, I'm sure they booked the building when they were drawing a lot better, and the audiences decreased over the last 3 months.
It's been a while.
So yes, Brian said this, but I'm going to echo it. Ray and Conan are a great team because Ray is awesome doing anything, and being the hot tag guy emphasizes all of Conan's strengths and hides all his weaknesses.
Yeah.
So, great.
There you go.
Savage comes out for a promo. He says he had...
Bischoff is now on commentary.
Yes.
It's very important.
Bischoff is now on commentary, and he's talking right over Savage's promo with his own jokes, and I hated him immediately. Like he was worse being a quote-unquote babyface announcer here and more annoying than he was as NWO President Eric Bischoff on commentary for months.
I don't like when guys talk over guys talking in the ring, but I will say that when Savage is doing his promo, where he's making gay jokes about Kevin Nash, very cutting-edge promo, Medusa runs down to the ring.
Oh boy, did she.
And, there's...
Needed more tape.
Dude,
Black
not
eye.
just tape, but anyway.
Black eyes and bruised knees. That's all I
Eric
say.
Bischoff just says, easy there, Medusa.
That was awesome.
It was perfect timing.
Yes, it was.
And there's nothing else you can even say.
Yeah.
What was she thinking?
I don't know, especially because she changed outfits later in the show.
I guess she was thinking it was the Attitude Era.
Yeah. So she says something to Nash, and
She says, and I quote,
oh yeah,
Big Sexy is here.
Yeah.
Not Kevin Nash.
Right.
Not Nash. Their hated enemy.
Yeah.
Big Sexy
Yeah.
is here.
I'm sure Nash gave her that line.
So Savage is happy to hear this. He calls out Nash, and then they leave. So what I wrote here in this first part is technically true about what happened next. What is technically true is Kenyon was laid out backstage, and Paige and Bigelow were tending to him.
Sure.
Now, they were doing a poor job of this. They were half-assing it. Their heart wasn't all the way in it. They were like, might be alive.
Yeah, what are you
damn,
going to
he's,
do?
I don't
he's
know.
down.
Yeah.
Shit.
What are you going to do?
Well, they'd beaten him up.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
Yeah.
So they walked out. But playing into the bigger part, we assume they beat him up.
Yeah, we never
There
saw
are no
them.
witnesses to this beating.
Yeah, they just presumed a cameraman was going to come by and they could make some jokes.
And a fan holding up an Owen Hart sign. This is, of course, 8 days after Owen died. And the announcers acknowledged the sign, and Bischoff wished the best to Brett and the rest of the family. Eric Watts versus David Flair.
Oh, my God. Well, first off, Tori's outfit.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Better than last week.
Yes.
Yes.
Didn't think that was possible.
This show is a historically great show, purely for Tori Wilson and the all-white bell-bottom catsuit she was wearing.
Yeah.
This was amazing. Did you catch in here, by the way, when the storyline is David Flair sucks? And that is the word they used.
Right.
This guy sucks.
Absolutely sucks.
Did you catch when Bischoff said, I'm sure he's a nice guy? Like,
Been hearing that a lot lately.
twice in 2 weeks that's come up.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm sure he is a nice guy, but he does fucking suck.
He's
And you know
horrible.
what's amazing about it? They're having a horrible match. It's fucking death TV. It's Eric Watts. Okay, this is
If you thought Van Hammer was a lousy veteran to carry a guy through a match.
the irony of Eric Watts versus David Flair. And they're even pointing that out on commentary.
Well, I'll take it a step further. They're critiquing Eric Watts. Bischoff is talking about the bad old days, the reign of terror of Bill Watts, who pushed Eric Watts to the moon.
Yep.
And the storyline is now Flair's doing the same thing with David. And then Eric mentions, I got a son named Garrett who'd probably be a pretty good wrestler. I thought, oh my God. This is
It
what
happened.
Yes.
Aces and eights, baby.
They started it here.
Anyway, so they're having this terrible match. Bischoff is burying David. He says he sucks. He needs to train. He needs to work out. He shouldn't be in the ring. And he's in the ring.
Right.
Okay. So, listen, everybody. The idea that the son of the promoter sucks, but he gets pushed down everybody's throat on television, is a story as old as time.
Absolutely.
Everybody hates it, and it sucks. So they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The storyline is we are presenting you with a shitty storyline.
We are designing something that everybody hates. Mm-hmm. I guess for heat. I don't know what the fucking payoff is.
No. Keep in mind, Bischoff for weeks now has been telling us he's going to turn this company around by putting on a storyline that in storyline sucks.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a great example, but this
You
is
will
the best
never
example.
find another parallel in
There's
another business.
there's nothing better than this. They are making a storyline about how the guy in charge's son sucks, and he's in there having matches, and he actually sucks. It's not like you're pretending he sucks, but he's actually good. You know what I mean? He totally, fucking sucks.
I like when Eric is ramming David's head into the turnbuckle, and David's arms are at his sides, his face is blank. You know those birds that you put on the desktop, they kind of go like this, back and forth? That's David going on the turnbuckle. Bending at the waist, like this, over and over again. It's poor. It is poorly done pro wrestling.
The comedy is you have one of the greatest wrestlers in the entire world, and his kid is in the ring.
Yeah, put Flair in. Again, I don't want Flair to pass the torch.
He's so bad. What do you think happens when they go back through the curtain?
That's a fine question.
Hey, all I know is this. Arn hits the ring, gives Eric the spine buster. David gets the pin. They've dropped the taking a dive storyline.
Okay.
That's one positive.
Sure.
Okay? That's all. That is Captain Glass half full here. That's all I could get out of this.
I also like Eric Bischoff, who suddenly is Mr. Continuity Editor, who has to make references to Arn and Eric having a brawl at a gas station a decade ago. Because they did. I'll be honest, I was expecting worse than we got out of this match. This was not the worst match I ever saw. Buff is meeting with Flair backstage. He wants a match.
This was awesome.
He wants a match with Macho Randy Savage.
Yes.
Flair says, listen, Buff, I like you. But you're not in Macho's league.
You seem like a nice guy.
You seem like, you just say it here, yeah. You're not in Macho's league. And if you go out there and get murdered, I'll look bad. So he offers a match against Bobby Eaton instead. Buff is stunned to learn Bobby Eaton still works for the company.
Yeah. Flair's like everybody does.
Everyone's on the payroll.
He complained about working with Bobby Eaton.
It's Buff Bagwell. He probably did complain about working with Bobby Eaton.
Well, this is Bobby Eaton.
It was not the Bobby Eaton of 1988.
No.
I don't think he'd worked in years, probably. And he was out of shape, and he got super tired.
Still had that punch, baby.
So Buff finally accepts the match, but he warns Eaton's going to get hurt. Ernest Miller comes out for a promo.
I'm done with this. I am just done with this. This is stupid.
So Cat is sick of Scott Norton running out in his matches. He calls out Norton. Norton obliges. They're doing this match. Norton's beating the hell out of him. The other B-teamers are laughing their asses off backstage. Then Cat pulls out a crowbar, hits Norton, pins him. Things go silent in the B-teamers' locker room. They determine when Norton returns, he's going to be pissed, and they don't want to be there, and they all pack up and get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, I was so angry when Shad came out with his bullshit and Scott Norton started coming through the curtain. I'm like, dude, this is the fourth fucking time. But they actually did something different. Unfortunately, they're going to have to wrestle more. The feud now has just begun.
Savage came back out with his women this time. He demanded Nash appear, and Nash's pyro goes off, his music goes off, and out comes some guy dressed up like Nash in a dress and heels. And Savage makes about 8 different lines about how this guy's in the closet. So, Randy Savage versus...
Bischoff flat out called the guy a transvestite.
Yes.
Not mincing words.
Yes. I think I missed some of the finishes in the show. But anyway, the women do all the wrestling. Miss Madness, which is Molly Holly, does the top rope Rana. And Medusa's out there throwing kicks. And even Gorgeous George does the big elbow. And finally, Randy does the big elbow and wins in a move that I thought was banned. But
The outlawed flying elbow was the finish of this match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, Vinny, it is a top rope diving Frankensteiner. I believe a
That's
hurricane
true.
run ends in a
She did not cradle him.
cradle.
There's
yes.
no roll up.
I apologize to Molly Holly for screwing up
Yes.
your move there.
Yes.
Buff Bagwell versus Bobby Eaton. Bischoff is going off on a rant about Jesse Ventura. Christ knows why. I don't know what's going on 19 years ago in Jesse's life, and I don't care. Bobby Eaton is out here taking backdrops on the floor in this match. Why?
Because he's Bobby Eaton, dude.
He did some stuff, and Buff hit the blockbuster for the win. This was pointless. Saturn comes out, says Raven and Kanyon are in the hospital. I guarantee you can't beat me. I challenge you guys to a handicap match for the tag titles. So it's Saturn by himself versus Page and Bigelow. It goes way too long.
How long did they beat on Saturn?
How long did he beat on them? It was just too long by the time they got the heat.
Yeah, but then they got the heat for like an hour.
They did.
They're just beating on this guy, beating on this guy, beating on this guy. Makes his comeback. It's a DVD. DDP doesn't kick out, but they call it a 2. It actually got a huge pop. I don't know what the hell went wrong there.
I think Bam Bam was supposed to break it up.
He's just standing outside.
Yeah.
Just chilling
I don't
out.
know. That's my guess. So he hits Bam Bam with a DVD, and then here comes Kanyon, running down the aisle, demanding to be tagged in. And Saturn crawls and dives and tags in Kanyon, and Kanyon's a house of fire, and Page punches him in the face and pins him. There's new tag team champions.
That quick.
Kanyon's selling like death. The announcers, clueless, are saying Kanyon never should have left this hospital. He's clearly in no condition to fight.
But then Eric says, God, you know what he got on the apron, though? He looked great.
So, okay, you've kind of confirmed here. I've forgotten. It was obvious to everyone that Kanyon was in on this, right?
I don't know if it was or not.
Time.
I don't know if it was at the time.
Okay.
It was abundant to me, and I didn't remember how the whole thing went down, but just watching the show, like, it was very easy for me to piece together. I don't know about everybody else.
So Savage and his women get into a limo. They're about to leave. A truck zooms in and blocks their path. And they had cameras in the limo. You can see all these giant vehicles zooming around backstage in the arena. So the first truck blocks their path, and then a septic truck zooms in out of nowhere and comes alongside them and blocks them that way.
I love the way they shot this. It was so fucking dumb.
Yep.
Well,
Like, they're in the car, and then one of them goes, oh my God, what is that? And they cut to a shot of the one truck zooming in to cut him off. But like in the vehicle's in motion.
Right.
But when the truck drives in front,
yes.
it stopped.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
It was
Then the
not
other one
edited well.
zooms in next to it, and they're like you can't back up.
Yeah, apparently limos don't have a reverse gear.
Yeah, they're trapped.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, okay, so you're in a car. You know what a car is? We got that clear?
I've got one.
All right, so something zooms in front of the car.
Sure.
Okay.
I follow you.
All right. Do you really have to park something next to the car?
Well, in
You're
this,
concerned the car may go sideways? You don't have anything behind
see
the
your
car.
point.
You know what I mean?
now I see your point.
They weren't
yes.
like blocked in so they couldn't get out. They got out.
Well, Savage is in pretty good shape. He probably could move.
The issue is like the car's not going to go sideways.
Sure.
It's going to go front or it's going to go back. Instead, this fucking Nash blocks it off in the front and blocks it off on the side.
Right.
and leaves the back open, which no one seemed to realize. So Nash jumps out and he undoes a hose from the septic tank and he pours the contents through the limo and there's all kinds of screaming and hollering and it's done. And then Nash says, "Let's get out of here." And he and his buddies jump in the septic truck and take off.
Well, let's not
What a hero.
gloss over the fact that he's on top of the car and the sewage is being poured in through the sunroof.
Sure.
Okay? Well, when the deed is done, now Kevin Nash needs to get off the car.
This is a feat.
It's covered in sewage. He's 7 feet tall. He's
Bad
had like
knees.
12 knee surgeries. This was the scariest thing I've ever seen. He did manage to pull it off, but I was sure that he was going to kill himself.
This is where I wrote, this is an S show.
I wrote, "I can't believe this company died."
They get out of the car. They're covered in sewage. It goes on way too long. It
Dry
sucked.
heave.
I did love there was one awesome thing. They're
I can't
covered
believe
in
you're saying this.
They're covered in it's so bad, it's so stupid. But they're covered in sewage. They're all screaming. Savage is acting like he's gonna vomit. And Medusa turns to Miss Madness and just says, "Your sash." That was funny.
Glad you picked
And
that
I
up.
don't even think it was supposed to be.
Oh, God. Sting and Rick Steiner in a cage
Ah,
match.
fuck it, who cares? Just,
They didn't. I'll tell you that much.
They had a shitty match.
This was Sting and Rick Steiner giving 0%.
gee, I wonder why. Tank Abbott, who is feuding with Rick Steiner on Thursday, is a special guest referee. He helps Rick Steiner win, and they're in cahoots.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Fuck you, WCW. You suck. I'm sick of this show.
Except you're
This
wrong.
show's terrible.
You're wrong about one thing.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Rick didn't win. There was no finish.
Oh!
There was no finish.
Yeah, this show can die. Oh, it did.
It did. Well, let's do this finishers report.
Fuck.
There's a couple of pins I'm missing here. I missed the Savage pin. I think I missed Buff too. But regardless, the
Just
finishes.
use that.
The finishes on this show were DQ in a hardcore match, clean pin, DQ in a tag match, but at least it's going somewhere. Pin after interference, pin after hitting dude with a crowbar, and then a non-finish in the shoot cage match main event.
Yeah. Hitting a guy with a crowbar. Hitting a crowbar with a crowbar.
Aha.
What a bad main event. But the show was okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The main event just left me in such a pissed off mood. It was so bad. So Raw 314, May 31st, 1999. So this was in real life taped 24 hours after the tribute show and 48 hours after Owen Hart died, and everyone has just moved on. It's like you're not you're not allowed to say his name. There was like one sign that made TV. And otherwise they've all just it's in the past. Can't live in the past.
They show these clips from Over the Edge. Steve Austin won the title in the main event because the show must go on when someone dies. It was Steve Austin versus The Undertaker.
Austin lost the title.
Yeah, he lost the title. Undertaker won. Fast count from Shane. I have zero memory of this.
Well, why would you?
Zero.
Honestly, I'd be greatly disturbed if you did.
So then, 2 days after Owen Hart dies, the show opens with druids carrying a cross down to the ring.
Yeah.
And the announcement that tonight Undertaker will reveal the greater power. And they said that the Undertaker has been talking about the greater power for weeks. Does anybody remember this?
He might have mentioned it
I think
once
he
or
mentioned
twice.
it one time.
Maybe one time. Where has it been on Heat? Has it been on the pay-per-view?
Maybe you had Twitter for anyone.
Where
else.
has he been talking about the, as they called it at the beginning, greater power? I seem to recall that they were like teasing the greater power forever.
It was a week or two.
Instead,
Tops.
they like mention it on this show like it's a big deal. The guy comes out at the end, we don't know who it is, and they reveal him the next week.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, did we mention, I know we have before, but it bears repeating, 1999 Triple H so strongly resembles classic Chris Jericho. He's either in shiny leather pants and a super tight sweatshirt halfway unzipped with no shirt underneath.
Yeah.
Long hair flowing back. So yeah, there's like 20 people in the ring, plus this big-ass symbol taking up space. It's very crowded. And Shane takes credit for getting the title off Austin. Taker says winning the title was phase 1. Now it's time for phase 2, the higher power or greater power. They went back and forth on that. I think just as they're not supposed to say crucifix, they're not supposed to say higher power, but they slipped up a lot more than they did with the symbol. So Vince comes out. Now, this all left me very confused. So, to make a long story short, Vince challenges... First, he books Taker versus Austin tonight. And then Shane...
For the title.
For the title. Shane says, no, I half own the company. That will not be a title match. So then Vince says, I want to fight Undertaker. And if I beat him, then Austin gets a title shot. And Shane says, okay. But if anyone interferes, then Austin doesn't get a title shot.
Yes.
Now, apparently this later came to be, if Vince doesn't win, Austin never gets a title shot ever again.
Yeah, in the same segment.
It did?
Yes.
Okay, they did not make that clear to me.
Yes. Well, I mean, Shane flat out said, if Vince does not beat Undertaker, Austin will never, ever get another shot at the WWE title.
Right.
Now, maybe if they took more time to build this up and promote it, instead of announcing it at the top of the show and doing the match at hour 1. So everyone's leaving. Austin's music hits. He's one of the druids. He attacks Taker.
What amazing timing by that music guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guess Austin slipped him a $5.
I guess, yeah. So Austin attacks, the Union attacks, there's a huge brawl, and then there's a sign from the primitive early days of the internet wrestling community. Does anyone else remember Sushi
Sushi
X?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's like, holy shit, Sushi X.
I got a question for everybody. Has there ever, in the entire history of wrestling, been a more forgettable faction of actual top guys than the Union?
It's up there. The problem is, it's
Top guys, Vinny.
I understand. No, but
There can't be.
the only thing I can say about the Union is they were so dumb at the time. It made them memorable.
It didn't count.
Yeah, you can't call it
There's
forget.
nothing memorable about the Union.
I remember the Union existed
I don't.
because it was bad. I remember how bad
don't.
the
It
Union
was so forgettable. Has there ever been?
I can't name a better one. I can't name a more forgettable faction of top guys.
I mean, if they exist, they must be real forgettable.
Apparently, because we've forgotten them.
Yeah.
So then Austin's pissed at the Union. He shoves Tess down. Just a dick.
He is a total cock.
Billy Gunn versus Big Show.
The Union determines that Steve Austin is now on his own.
I guess so.
They
yeah.
tried to help, and he was a dick, so he's on his own.
Well, I don't blame him. He was a dick. I left him alone too. They did some stuff. Show calls for the chokeslam. Billy walks out for the count out.
Well, what happened was, they're having this boring match, and Billy decides he's going to leave. And literally, he has just gotten out of the ring, and Road Dogg's music hits. Road Dogg beats his ass, he throws him in the ring. Big Show starts grabbing the guy by the neck, and they suddenly just start playing Big Show's music. None of the announcers have any idea what the finish is. They presume it must be a count out, because they're like, nothing else makes any sense. It's just like, I mean, it could have been a DQ, except they played Big Show's music. Mm-hmm. So, it is a mystery.
And then after all of that, Billy gets thrown into the ring and chokeslammed anyway.
Yeah. Why didn't the Big Show just beat Mr. Ass? Anybody have a good answer?
This was not a King of the Ring match. He could still win that tournament.
Yes.
So, by the way, I think, and this may not be news really, but I think Paul White's done. He's now just Big Show.
Yeah.
We've gotten that point. Beaver Cleavage and his mom were backstage being incesty.
God, I just love these Twitter folks on Twitter and the board who They're so excited for me to
Yes.
get mad about Beaver, Cleavage, and Christian. It's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, it's bad.
It's not worth your breath.
But I mean, in the ring, Beaver Cleavage is so much better than he was as a headbanger.
Yes.
Sure.
They had a totally fine match.
Yes.
And
They worked hard.
I mean,
both look good, wrestling wise.
Sure.
But yes, it's an all. We know this.
it's a dumb gimmick.
On a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 0. There's nothing good about this gimmick. It's an all-time stinker of a gimmick. You can bury it all you want. But you took the Headbangers, a horrible team, and you cut the shittier guy. So the leftovers, by default, are much better. This match was fun.
They named him Harry
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Beaver Cleavage.
For those of you who don't recall, it's the short, thick headbanger, Mosh, and his quote-unquote mom was played by Mariana Kamlos, a pro bodybuilder who married Paul Lazenby in 2004 and then passed away due to breast cancer that same year.
That's some good sleuthing, Vince.
Oh yeah, it was real hard to dig him up. So, regardless, they're doing this match. Christian does a frog elbow when Mark Briscoe was like 6. And then Michael Hayes and the Hardy Boys run out, hit Christian with a cane, and Beaver hits a reverse suplex for the win. Christian does a big dive onto the Hardys, and it turns into a hell of a brawl between the Hardys and Vampires. This is a lot of good action in this segment.
Sure.
And it occurred to me later in the show, but I'll just say this here. I talked about the timing of everything. These guys had a lot of stress to work out of their system. And when you're a pro wrestler and you have stress to work out, you go in the ring and you wrestle really hard. So the wrestling on the show, by and large, was very good, especially for Attitude Era Raw. Taker tells Shane nothing's going to stand in his way. Jeff Jarrett versus Godfather.
Once again, they're putting Deborah and her puppies on the line. Don't you remember they did that like a month ago?
Yes.
And then it led to absolutely nothing?
More than that.
They just
like
didn't even
December.
abide by the stipulation at all.
Yes.
And she was going to be one of Godfather's ladies
Yeah.
as
This
well.
is dumb.
I was a big fan of Godfather's ladies this week.
They were better than usual.
Yes.
The one in the white.
They were better
Well,
than
the-
usual.
If there's going to talk about woman in white tonight, it's Tori.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
give
Regardless, there's nothing wrong with these ladies here. So even Godfather is taking this giant ass over tea kettle bump over the ropes to the floor. So then, yes, Deborah jumps in the apron and tries to flash the Godfather. And one of Godfather's women flashes her back. And then Jarrett hits Godfather with Deborah's women's championship belt and pins him to win the Intercontinental title.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Vince McMahon versus Undertaker.
Oh my God. You know? So they're having this match. It's bad because Vince is in there.
Sure.
Fans are cheering for Vince, which was bizarre. Although there was a lot of crowd sweetening on this show, especially when the Hardys were out there and they're supposed to be heels. I couldn't figure out why they were being booed so loud. They're supposed to be heels, so they piped in some booing for that segment. But Vince is out there, and finally Vince makes a comeback. And oh my God, the punches this fucking guy threw. Shane's his kid.
Now we know why.
Like, Shane can do some crazy things, like the coast to coast, and he's very good at falling, okay? But, like, neither of them are good athletes at all. Like,
No coordination.
No, it's
His
astounding.
leaping ability. But yes, they're
Mostly falling, Vinny.
when he was a young man, he had a cool leapfrog.
Okay, he had a good leap.
He's done shooting star presses.
He has done shooting. I'll give him that. I'll give him the shooting star press. It's very, 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 very difficult. But holy fucking shit.
His punches are awful.
Jesus,
Yes.
Vince throwing these fucking punches at The Undertaker. I was like, oh.
But he was trying. You know?
Well, they're both fucking trying. That's not the issue,
Undertaker was
Vinny.
seated. No, I guess I'll watch a Van Hammer later. Listen, I've seen a lot of really, really horrible Vince McMahon matches. This only went 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the worst match I ever saw, but
It wasn't the worst Vince match. I ever
Vince's
saw.
offense.
Yeah,
Oh.
you're right. He's not very good.
No, terrible.
So Taker's beating up and he throws the ref down and gets disqualified. Taker has a chance to remove Steve Austin as a contender for the rest of his life. And he loses his temper and hits a ref.
So he chases the ref through the crowd. He's mad at the ref.
Yes.
Yeah.
You dumb shit.
So Taker beats up the Stooges, chases the ref away. Fans are calling for Austin, and that's that. Actually, no, Cole interviews Austin, who says he never wants help from anyone, and he tells Cole to leave. He's a dick. Mankind comes out. He challenges Triple H to a no DQ Falls Count Anywhere match. Says Chyna had walked in on him in the shower. Clearly, she wanted to touch him in an impure way.
Now, how would she do that? Just randomly in the dude's locker room? I'm looking for logic here.
A lot of these locker rooms.
Hey, we've been in locker rooms with women before.
There's just
It happens.
There's just a locker room.
Come on.
You act like adults. It just happens.
They acted like adults?
Well, sometimes.
Get out of here, Vinny, you idiot.
Sometimes. Hey, it happens.
No.
It does.
This was the 90s in WWE. Are you kidding me?
Regardless.
How many sexual harassment suits came out in the 90s?
Regardless, he says he's a married man and he will not allow Chyna to touch mankind's manhood. So he leaves and he starts walking up the ramp. And they go to break and they come back and say, look what happened when we got to the top of the ramp.
Yeah, they couldn't keep the
You
camera on
couldn't.
him.
4 seconds, guys.
No.
So he's been brawling with the big boss man since before the break. He's still brawling with him. And then Road Dogg comes up to fight Boss Man, and that match just starts.
I mean, this was a taped show, if I recall correctly. So
I believe we mentioned that, yes.
Sure.
So Road Dogg versus Boss Man. Place is just going nuts for this. People love them some Road Dogg. And then Boss Man just hits him with a nice stick for the DQ.
God, Jiminy Christmas.
The ref takes the nice stick away. Boss Man pulls out a chain and chokes Dogg with it. I can only assume this must have led to a chain match somewhere. Although, maybe not, because it was the Attitude Era and nothing makes sense. Shane is throwing a tantrum backstage. And Viscera and Mideon are trying to calm him down. So Shane's like throwing the punch bowl and he picks up the bottle of champagne, whatever, and chucks it across the room. Meanwhile, Mideon and Viscera, it's like they're playing Godzilla. They're just... That's all they do. I couldn't stop watching them. I was laughing harder and harder the longer this went. They showed the King of the Ring brackets.
Ah! There's 1,000 people in the King of the Ring, and
There
one of them
is.
is Chyna. I'm like, holy fucking shit.
They finally showed brackets, and now Brian.
God damn it.
That's right.
Literally, how many people were in this King of the Ring tournament?
16.
Oh, fuck.
Double digits is more than... If it's more than this many, that's too many for a tournament.
Vinny, if this were a real tournament, fine. It's a WWE Vince Russo Attitude Era tournament with fucking 16 people. It's going to be a shit show. Guaranteed.
Didn't pay that much attention to who was in it. They pointed out Chyna.
Yeah, Chyna versus Val Venus is a first round match.
Did you also know they said all the first round matches are going to be on Heat?
Oh, great. Cool. I don't have to watch them then.
Right.
X-Pac and Kane versus the Acolytes. So remember earlier when I said all these guys were feeling it and giving it their all tonight?
Sure.
There was a dope brawl in this fight in this match between a Fox News correspondent and the future mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Wow.
Kane and Bradshaw were awesome here. So, cut off X-Pac, Shane shows up. Here's their idea for a finish.
Oh,
Write this down.
Yeah.
Vinny
Write this
is
down.
not making up.
Write this
Hold on a
down.
second. Hold on a second. As you explain this, Vinny, okay, what I want everyone to pretend is that Vince Verhey is like Vince Russo.
Sure.
So explain this finish, Vinny, okay? So I'm Vince, I'm coming up to you, I'm saying, it's X-Pac and Kane versus the Acolytes,
Bro.
okay? I need a finish here. I want the Acolytes to go over. What do you got, Vince?
What if Shane is out there, X-Pac sets up, I believe, Bradshaw for the Bronco Buster.
Okay.
He goes to the middle of the ring, he turns his back, he's crotch chopping and jumping. Meanwhile, Shane sneaks onto the apron, he holds up a chair in the corner. X-Pac turns around, goes to the Bronco Buster, and runs into this chair like the biggest goddamn moron geek goof you ever saw in your life on the planet Earth.
God damn, I like it.
So Shane holds the chair there. Poor X-Pac. Just does his job.
What a champ.
What a trooper.
What a fucking idiot.
Taking one for the team.
This poor guy.
He has to turn and pretend he can't see a chair in the corner and run into it as fast as he can.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Write this finish down on your notepad and then set your notepad on fire and never speak of it again. So
Your tag team champion.
Bradshaw follows the clothesline from hell. The Acolytes are the tag team champions. This is a very fun match until the stupid finish.
You know what's funny is, like, if X-Pac would have run for the Bronco Buster, and Bradshaw would have just put up his boot,
Yeah.
Fine.
and X-Pac would have hit his balls on the boot and then taken the clothesline from hell,
100%
like,
better.
it would have been a clean finish, but he would have looked like way less of a fucking geek than with what they did.
Yeah.
Dude, it's okay to lose. You know?
We had the debut of GDTV,
Yeah, GDTV.
which I can only assume stands for goddamn TV.
It was supposed to be Gold Dust
Dust.
TV, but
sure.
I figure they thought the D was too obvious, so they ended up dropping the D.
So somebody was sick in the bathroom. Went on for a long time. Gosh. Turned out to be Mark Henry, which made sense why it was so long, since they were trying to get him to quit. And that was it. It was like a 2-minute skit of that. And Jim Ross was indignant about all this, and I do not blame him. Val Venus and Ken Shamrock. So now Nicole Bass and Val Venus are a couple.
They're a thing.
They're a thing.
He has bedded some of the hottest women
Oh.
in the porn industry, and now Nicole Bass is his type.
He's moved on, man. Different flavor of the month.
Guess
You're
so.
Val Venus, that's how you roll. So between Nicole Bass, Beaver Cleavage, Mrs. Cleavage, and China, we had a show chock full of very large women who died young. And actually large men who died young, now that I think about it. So Jared comes out, distracts Shamrock. Val kicks the ropes into his nuts and pins him. Shamrock lays out Val, chases Jeff to the back. Val is upset with Nicole, I guess, for letting Shamrock hit him.
Yeah, she was supposed to watch his back.
See.
She told him that she could handle anything.
I see.
He wants to know where the hell she was.
Yeah. And then Val says, "It's okay, you can make it up to me right now," and they leave together. Presumably to bang.
Thank you, Vinny. I couldn't figure out what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Let me make a note of that.
Taker tells the higher power that he will not fail him. Mankind versus Triple H in a no DQ false count anywhere match. All I remember about this,
A backslide on the floor.
backslide on the floor.
That was awesome. Hey, listen.
False count anywhere. Why not?
Mankind Triple H hardcore match. This match was a very good match.
It's always good.
Triple H and Mankind work great together. Triple H should employ Mankind for life. Mankind made this guy a main event.
Oh, that's clear. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I was watching this too, and first off, Hunter whips out the sledgehammer. Sledgehammer now part of the act. They're doing all these wacky spots, and finally we get China involved, and she gets bumped. Basically, Mankind boots Hunter, who bonks into her, who smashes into the steps. Hunter just ignores that she's been killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gets back into the ring. She gets in there, sledgehammer to the balls of Mankind.
Hammer to the hammer.
Yep, hammer to the hammer. And then Hunter whacks him in the leg with his sledgehammer. And amazingly, the most astounding thing about this match is he didn't pedigree the guy. I couldn't even believe my eyes.
He just hit him in the leg and pinned him.
But anyway, they pin him, and all these geeks come out to help Mankind. And then Hunter and China come back, and they continue destroying the leg. They stretch around Mankind. He's put in an ambulance. He's driven away, and it suddenly hit me. We are 6 months away from their famous Royal Rumble match.
Yes.
And we are only 7 months away from when Mick Foley retired for the first time.
Yes.
We've been watching these Attitude Era shows since 1995, so it's been 4 years now, okay? Sometimes, like, I'm watching Nitro, and it's like, oh my fucking God, it's been an eternity. My life, so much of my life I'm wasting with this bullshit. But then there's other times where it's like, this Attitude Era is the fucking blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Like, it's a blink of an eye. We are right now less than 2 years away from the WCW dying
Yes.
and the invasion starting and
That's
all
the
of
only
that.
thing that keeps me going sometimes is that knowledge.
It's crazy. Like this era, this Attitude Era is like
A
few years.
Yeah.
I fucking watch Raw and it's like, you know, in some ways it's the same show it was 10 fucking years ago. But this famous Attitude Era is like 3 or 4 years and it's over. I can't believe we're 6 months away from that. It's impossible to believe.
So I do love that in this match, Jim Ross is trying so hard on because, spoiler alert, everyone, Hunter's going to be world champion in a few months. So they're trying to put him over as, you know, giving him the superstar push. He's got a new look, got new music. He's never going to lose again. And on top of that, Jim Ross is bending over backwards to talk about what a technical wizard he is. Like he's Jack Briscoe or something. Meanwhile, Hunter's in the ring swinging this hammer like John Henry. Just, okay.
It was a good match, good angle. Hunter
Rock,
came off like a star.
yes. So he continues to attack Foley until The Rock makes the save. And I should add, I neglected this earlier, Mankind in his promo earlier made fun of the smell what The Rock is cooking catchphrase, or aped it. If you smell where the sock is hiding, right, what he said. But there's more seeds being planted. So yes, Foley is loaded into an ambulance. Test leaves with him. Undertaker versus Steve Austin. We have burned through this show. They had plenty of time. Felt like a world title match, mostly brawling on the floor. Austin's taking all kinds of bumps outside.
By the way, this was not the very, very famous Undertaker-Austin match. We're a month away. In 1 month, it will be the Austin-Undertaker match that did a 9.5 rating and 10 million viewers for one match. It was more than 10 million.
It's funny, too, because they've had so many matches. And then something later on or that we've seen
they must do something to build to it well.
Apparently.
Well,
I don't remember.
I mean, part of the problem is WCW continues to just tank.
That's true.
So there's more and more people that are switching over.
Yeah. I remember at this time when we were watching it back in the day, I got sick of seeing Undertaker versus
I remember this
Stone
too.
Cold.
Yes. It was like Usos and New Day.
Exactly.
So, anyway, Austin has the stunner. Paul Bearer yanks the ref out of the ring. The Ministry runs out, attacks Austin for the DQ. They tie him in the ropes. The lights go down. The Druids chant. The greater power strides down to the ring in a big-ass cloak. He reveals his face to Austin, who is uber pissed, and the show ends.
It's funny because obviously we're watching it 19 years later. We all know who the higher power is, but I'm watching here on the network, and this Druid gets down real close to Austin, and he flashes his face real quick, and Austin goes, "You son of a bitch." By the way, we should know who it is immediately when Austin calls him a son of a bitch, but show immediately goes off the air, and then there's a preview for next week, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's Vince.
Oh, man.
Ha! Smiling after unmasking.
Man, you spoiled it for everybody.
They spoiled it.
I know.
I'm reporting news right here.
So, yeah, that was a better Raw than usual.
And you know what? I actually think that Vince was in that costume live at the show.
I think so, too.
Watching him, because I totally forgot this part. I remember the big reveal next week. But watching Vince try to walk like a druid.
Yeah. Like, why didn't they make him wear a ski mask? Like, all the fans saw that it was Vince. I guess they just didn't care. There was no real... I mean, there was an internet, but not like there is today.
Yeah.
But there you go, yeah. Higher power revealed next week, everybody. After all these months of Undertaker talking about the greater power.
Sure.
We're going to find out who this is. All righty.
Well, only one thing left to do, Brian.
Let's hit that music.
There you go. The finishes on this show were: count out when a guy walked away from a match, pinfall after interference, pinfall after belt shot, DQ due to attack on the ref, DQ due to nightstick, pin after the babyface ran face first into a steel chair like the biggest goddamn moron on the planet, pinfall after nutshot, pinfall in what was effectively a handicap hardcore match, DQ due to gang attack.
Huh. Not too bad.
It wasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show, though. I mean, the finishes sucked.
It was a much better Raw than has been in a long time.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, everybody, that's it. We'll be back on Thursday with Granny, as well as the NXT show and whatever we're going to do for Potpourri. I'll be back tomorrow with Filthy Tom Lawler, who also, we've been doing a Wednesday afternoon Potpourri. We've been watching one match from this day in history. And I will give everybody I'll reveal everybody what tomorrow's match is going to be. It is Terry Gordy versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan for the UWF Championship in the finals.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
From May 3rd, 1986.
That's when Hacksaw still had working shoes.
Yes.
Dude, he had working shoes on in that 1993 Raw when he had a match with Shawn Michaels.
That's true.
One of the last great matches of his career. But anyway, that's coming up on tomorrow. And then we'll be back on Thursday. And that's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.